What's up everyone? I am going to be showing you guys how I do my eyebrows today. I'm going to do like a more in-depth tutorial and explain everything. This is a technique for people who have like no eyebrows at all or very little eyebrows like me. So let me show you what I'm working with here. This one is starting to kind of become an eyebrow, and I'm going to brush it up here so we can get a really good view of what I have. So this one is fuller than my right one, and I've got, you know, a thin line, a decent area at the front, and really nothing at the tail end of it. And on this one, I'm not working with as much. I have even less of a tail here. It's even thinner, and the front is not as nicely shaped, and it doesn't go as far out either. So they're really a mess. They're really all over the place. They became this way from over plucking. So they were already kind of thin. I wore them thin many years ago, and then I just continued to pluck them until they became a mess, and then they don't really grow back now. They grow, but not where I want them to grow, and they're kind of light anyways in certain areas. So this is what I'm working with. If you have nothing at all, this technique will work too. If you have eyebrows already, you really don't need to do all of this. This is something for people who are basically trying to create a whole new brow. So what I use is Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. So this is like a creamy type product. And I use the color Soft Brown, which some people might say is too dark for me because I'm a blonde. People would suggest like the taupe color for a blonde. I don't like that light of a brow, especially because I wear really intense eye makeup. So I like to use the soft brown. And as you can see, it's pretty dark. It's not really, it says soft brown, but it's like a medium shade brown. And then I use the Anastasia brush. All three products I use are Anastasia, but there's plenty of cheaper other products that basically do the same shit. I just bought these because they are very popular, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So this has like a spoolie end to brush your eyebrows with, and then this is the brush that I apply my product with, just a flat angled brush. And then I also use the powder from Anastasia. So this one is a duo, so it comes with two powders, which for me I find pointless. Again, if you actually had eyebrows, this would probably be pretty cool because you could just use the lighter color maybe towards the front and the darker color in the middle. But if you don't have any eyebrows, you're probably gonna want to keep it consistent. So yeah, I use the darker color in this guy here, this guy. And I start with my pomade and my brush. And I'm just going to put some product here on the brush. I probably need a new one of these, but goddamn, they're like $30, and it's like, you'll never use all of this. Like, I'm basically drying my whole eyebrow on, and I'll never use all this before it dries up. So I'm getting a good bit of product on there. I've already brushed the eyebrows up, but I'm gonna do it again. Make sure they are in place. Okay. So I'm gonna start on the bottom, and I put my brush right here at the end of the front, and I'm gonna draw a line connecting in the shape that I want. And go back over it again with more product. And I'm using the cream instead of the powder for this part, so I can get like a more defined line and really create a shape to fill in with the powder. If you already have eyebrows, you can just fill in what you already have with the powder. If you do not have eyebrows, you kind of gotta make some. So I kind of got how I want the bottom to be. I'm going to continue on from that point and make my tail. So I'm going over like my natural eye shape here in like kind of a arch. Like so. whole thing in one swipe. And I'm gonna end it, you know, slightly diagonally from the corner of the eye. And then they say you want to start like right at the edge of your nose is where you want the front end to start. So now I've got the bottom line defined, and I'm gonna do the top. I'm not starting from here because we want this part to be a little lighter, because this is where naturally your hairs would be a little more sparse, and here they'd be like a little denser and darker. So I'm starting right here again, like not fully over to the end of the brow. Got some shit stuck on there. Okay, so I'm starting right here, and again drawing the line in the shape that I want it. Okay, kind of met up right here where I stopped in the first section. Put a little bit more product on the brush and start from the middle and try and make these two meet in a nice shapely fashion. So that's basically the shape that I want. And it looks, you know, ridiculous right now because we haven't filled it in, but that gives me an idea of how I'm gonna put that powder in there, and we're gonna blend it all together and make it look more natural. So I'm not gonna put any more product on the brush, and I might even like wipe a little of what's left on there onto my hand, and I'm gonna further define the line here, but it'll be a little bit lighter than the rest. Go all the way out to the end of where we're gonna have it end. Okay, I like that. That's the shape that I'm going for. So now I would take my powder, go in with darker color, get a good bit of that on the brush. I'm using the same brush, I'm not cleaning it or anything, it's not really necessary. And I'm gonna start under here, and this is gonna be like the hardest part to get to look natural. So we're gonna need like more dense color on the underneath part. See that big part of skin that I'm covering? That's the biggest, you know, missing piece right there. So I'm gonna start there, and I'm just gonna kind of press it in there. A little more product. Now I'm gonna kind of stroke more than press. You know, as you can see, my real brow is still a lot darker than that, so we're gonna keep going. Okay, now it's starting to match up. So move over to the tail end, and I'm just gonna like one long sweep right in there. Now up to the top. The bottom still needs a little more. I told you that bottom is stubborn. Okay, so I got it filled in mostly how I want it. And now we're gonna fix up this part. Again, I'm not gonna put any extra product on there because we want this part to be a little lighter. So I'm just gonna kind of blend what's already there into that last part on the front of the brow. And this is like a little too squarish for me, so I'm gonna take a Q-tip and just kind of round out the edge of that front part of the eyebrow. And there you go. I'm gonna do the other one and then I'll show you guys what it looks like with both of them done. Okay, so I did the other eyebrow and I also put eyelashes on to just finish everything and so you can see what it all looks like. They're not gonna look exactly the same, and that's okay. Your eyebrows don't have to look exactly symmetrical, and most natural eyebrows don't look exactly symmetrical. So this one is like a bit more arched than this one, but they look, you know, that where they say eyebrows are cousins, not sisters, so they don't have to look exactly the same as long as they look similar and they, you know, kind of match up with each other a little bit. So also, you know, when you're like somebody that doesn't have a ton of eyebrow to work with, whatever you do have on each side, it's going to be a little different, and it's going to be, you got to work with what you have. So this eyebrow has more hair going on and it looks a little nicer because I have more hair to start out with. And honestly, if I plucked more hair out of this one and made it look more like this one naturally, I could probably make them look more symmetrical with makeup, but I'm not going to sit there and pluck the little bit of eyebrows that I have out. So this is what you get. I'll give you guys like a little close-up of the other brow that I did, and back to that one. So yeah, that's basically how I do my eyebrows. And again, like I said, this is probably not the technique that you will want to use if you do have a good bit of natural brows. And it also, another thing with us girls with no brows is it's not going to look as nice and natural as when a girl with full brows fills her brows in with powder. They're going to look awesome and everything. Ours can only look so great. So this is basically what you get if you are drawing in stuff that isn't there. So hope this was helpful and hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thanks guys. Peace.